plateau. Until suddenly, green water comes into view, one of the highest navigable lakes in the world. Lake Titicaca. Legend has it that this lake was the birthplace of Inca culture. The 8,300 square kilometre Titicaca Lake is located at an altitude of 4,000 meters in the Andes Mountains, on the border that divides Peru and Bolivia. Up to 281 meters deep, and with a temperature of 8 degrees centigrade, it contains a multitude of freshwater fish. The reflection of the dark mountains in the water suggests the presence of an abundance of minerals. Over thousands of years, an extraordinary and unique animal and plant kingdom has developed here. A vast lake at this altitude is quite unique. For many years it was considered to be the highest navigable water in the world, but this title has since been granted to another lake in Peru. In the western area of the lake, there's a fascinating group of islands that have been created by man. The floating islands of the Uru Indians. Canoes made from rushes indicate that they are close by. The artificial islands vary in size and support modest wooden huts. The islands and the canoes are made from closely packed bundles of totora reed. When dry, the totora reed found in the shallow areas of Lake Titicaca is extremely fragile. In water, however, it has the elasticity and strength of hemp rope. The Indios settled on their floating islands many centuries ago. Maize and corn are still ground with a heavy millstone. On the menu there is a variety of fish, plants and birds. The bow of the balsa boats, made from rushes, are richly decorated. However, the rushes rot after about 12 months, and new boats are built to replace them. Around 250 Indians still live on the 80 or more floating islands, of which some are even used to grow grain. For the Incas, the legendary lake is said to be water without foundation, that is connected to the world's largest oceans, a lake on which the earth gently drifts. Wool production is an important source of revenue for Indios women. The pleasant climate of this region is partly due to the mineral content of the water that helps to keep the temperature down. After leaving the wobbly islands, the juddering train travels across the endless fields of the untouched high mountain area. A newly boarded group of musicians transforms the atmosphere of the Inca train. Next, an enjoyable stop in Juliaca to buy provisions and handicrafts, or just an ideal opportunity to stretch the legs. The train travels slowly through small villages, and sometimes the rails even pass through a market. From this railway junction, it's only 338 kilometers to Cuzco. Because the railway track is mainly without bends, there is a constant shunting backwards and forwards. The time when the train is transferring from one rail to another is a welcome break. And with little ceremony, passengers are invited to change from one train to another. Cuzco, the navel of the world, capital of the Inca realm. This city is located at an altitude of 3,400 meters above sea level and has more than 200,000 inhabitants. Friendly people wearing national dress welcome the new arrivals. The Square of the Weapons, Cuzco's main square, was built on the foundations of ancient Inca palaces. Unique churches and wells that date back to colonial times give Cuzco a typical Spanish ambience. The end of a remarkable epoch is featured on this wall painting, The Cruel Conquest of the Spanish. Cuzco was a prosperous Inca city and shone with gold. In 1533, the city was conquered by the Spaniard Pizarro with a small contingent of soldiers. The Incas fought back without success. Thus, Cuzco remained in the hands of the Spanish. The meticulously worked stones, none of them joined by mortar, that form the stable and uniform walls are extremely striking. As Cuzco was the capital of the Incas, all the roads of the Cuatro Suyos, or regions, ended here. Its narrow alleys have a protective quality about them. On the ruins of the sanctuaries of the Incas, churches were built, and with little resistance, the people converted to the Catholic faith. Ancient wooden balconies and tiled roofs dominate the city, a contrasting blend of both Spanish and Inca culture. And traditional patterns and colours are also present in the arts and crafts. Even today, alpaca wool is very popular in the manufacture of quality clothes and fine carpets. The ruins of buildings that date back to pre-Columbus times are reminiscent of a fortress and several temples. It was not long before Cuzco became the archaeological capital of Latin America. In the evening, there is a leisurely atmosphere in the Plaza de Armas. Numerous benches provide a comfortable place for the latest gossip, and surrounding restaurants offer a tempting menu. The realm of the four regions that survived rebellions and earthquakes was conquered and transformed. But its fascination and charm still exist today. Close to Cuzco is the Holy Valley of the Incas, a fertile high valley between Pisac and Ollanta y Tambo. The terraces were created by the Incas and are still used today. A perfect climate and a good supply of water ensure an abundant harvest. "300 meters above the village, there are the well-maintained and restored ruins of a fascinating